We are live. We're live from New Rochelle and at Iona University in this new radio room. And we are here for the birth of a new radio show. Very first, not last. But hey, we're here and here to talk. We're gonna have a great show, great bunch of shows. We're gonna be a great time talking about the NBA, huh? And isn't it great topic for the first episode? So today we're here and now since you guys don't know me, my name is Bryan Ferreira, and I'm here to introduce myself. I have been watching the NBA since I was in the second grade. I've been a fan for the longest. I am actually a Dallas Mavericks basketball fan in New York, and it's been a rough couple of days. February 1st, terrible day for Mavericks fans. Shocking news. So, first, I'm just gonna start it off by saying I don't know why we just traded Luka Doncic, our franchise, but it happened and we've got to live with it. So now that we're here, it's time to talk about how this originated and why this happened. So I was a fan of the Mavericks for the last 6 years. Luka Doncic actually is the reason I'm a fan of the Mavericks. When I was younger, I never had a fan. I wasn't having a team. I was more of a fan of players because I never chose. I never felt like it was right to choose. So I was a fan of LeBron, Kyrie, all these players. And then eventually, I found myself with Luca and I felt so much joy watching him play that I chose to be a fan of the Mavericks actually. Like forget Luca, like I'm a fan of the team. And I thought for the next 20 years, we have Luca, we have stability, we have loyalty. They put Dirk's statue outside, loyalty never fades away. I'm thinking, wow, like that's gonna be my slogan, like loyalty never fades away, because I'm trying to be a loyal guy. That's the type of person I'm trying to be. And hey, I guess we don't stand by that anymore. But yeah, so actually in high school on my graduation cap, I had put the Mavs on it and I put the slogan loyalty. So it was just last year. I graduated last year. And this is already aged terribly. So yeah. And it's like it was a rough weekend, having to like see all the news reports come out of them like slandering Luca. They said he was fat, like he's 270, conditioning issues. But we should get into the actual report. So the report, it was like 11 o'clock at night. I woke up from a long nap after school. It was my 12 o'clock day, so I got home at like 1. I ate a couple things, and then I went to sleep because, it was a rough day, so I was just like, "Let me go to sleep, let me wake up and relax." Because the next day I have class that starts at 1. So that class that starts at 1, we get to it. I'm awake, I'm, like, watching this video on my phone because, like, I'm getting ready to not to sleep, but, like, to, like, stay up and, like, have some things to do. And then I get a report from Shams, the guy, Shams, and it says the Dallas Mavericks have made a trade, and I'm thinking, "Whoa, like, we're making a trade, like, who we trading?" Could be Gafford, get him for, like, maybe Herb Jones, maybe a package to build around Luka. The first name I read is Luka Doncic, and I'm thinking, "There's no way. Like, what am I reading?" And then I read it, Luka Doncic, Maxi Kleber, Markieff Morris for Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a first-round pick. And, like, when I read that, I'm like, is this real? There's no way this is real." I click on it. I click the profile because on Twitter, there's, like, NBA Centel, there's, like, Shams fan was, like, the fan that's, like, lowercase. I click it, and it's the real Shams, the real guy, and I'm like, "There's no way." So then I refresh Twitter, and then no one's posting, it's just Shams. So then, on Twitter, there's Twitter Spaces. So I see a space start up immediately. A Twitter space starts immediately, and I have to join it because like there's no way this is real. In the space, there are a bunch of people screaming, saying he's hacked. He's hacked, and I'm like, he could be hacked because like Twitter is easy to hack. There's a lot of people who've been hacked before. So I'm like, Maybe he is hacked because there's no way a trade Luka Doncic would be traded, right? He's 25, superstar, just brought us to the finals, got traded. And then it took me a while to, like, really sink in that Luka Doncic, the franchise, the five-time first-team All-NBA player, has been traded to the Lakers. Of all teams, the Lakers, the the royalty, team royalty. They got LeBron, Kobe, Shaq, Magic Johnson, Kareem, all back to back. And Luka Doncic is gonna add to that. And I couldn't process in my head, like, did we really just trade our franchise guy? So I'm really scrolling. I see Chris Haynes post it. I see the Mavericks, Brad Townsend post it. And I'm like, there's no way this is actually real. So then eventually, like, after like trying to cope, like, we didn't actually just do that, did we? We didn't trade him. I see the in the Twitter space, everyone's like freaking out. Like it's in my ear. I'm like, wow, like he got traded. There's no way. And then I see the video of Shams on ESPN talking, yes, this is real. And he keeps going and keeps going. And then like, I don't know if you guys ever seen that Homelander clip where he's in the movie theater and he's watching a movie and he can't hear anything. It's just like the noise. Like that was me. Like I'm sitting there, it's 11 o'clock, almost 12, I'm pretty sure. And I'm like, I've been a fan for since the second grade, and I have never seen anything like this. This is the biggest trade in NBA history. And it's just like, it so happened to be my favorite player getting traded away from my favorite team that becomes the biggest trade in NBA history. So the rough night, I I get a bunch of calls, a bunch of texts because like I'm the only Mavericks fan people know. And they're like, there's no way you guys just traded Luca. I get a call from my boys in this group chat. They call me and they're like, they're clowning. They're kind of clowning, but like one of them says, I wouldn't even blame you if you stopped being a fan. And then I like thought to myself, like, this has never happened before. Cause like back in 2023, when they missed the playoffs because the injuries, they traded for Kyrie, they did not have a center. I was thinking like, what if Luca were to request a trade or like not sign back in free agency? He just signed his contract. What if he were to request a trade? I wouldn't even know what to do because like, yeah, they didn't build a proper team around him, and it was just a bunch of it was like Luca, Kyrie, and then a bunch of non-defending, non-shooting players, and then no center. It was a bunch of shooters, but like the shooters who can't shoot. But like I was like, I wouldn't blame him if he requested a trade because we've seen players in the past do that. And Luka's that caliber player. He's young, like team didn't build around him, but he stayed and he then did what he did the next year in 23, 24, averaged 34, 9, and 10. And it was like a resurgence. They started the year off a little iffy. They started off strong. Kyrie got hurt, players got hurt, went a little iffy. And then people were like questioning him, questioning the team. And then the trade deadline happens. They get PJ Washington, Daniel Gafford. We go on a massive run and we win 50 games, fifth seed in the conference. The tough Western Conference. This last year's Western Conference was tough. There was a bunch of 50-win teams, and we made it. And then we end up going on a playoff run led by the Mavericks' underrated, amazing defense, the playmaking ability of Luka, and the second option and ability of Kyrie to like understand that Luka is the superior playmaker and ball handler and game manager to let him work and take it when he wants to give his ability. Like Kyrie's a skilled shot creator, and he did that. Like he had his games, both of them had their games. But the thing that was so special is if one of them weren't on, the other one would always step up to make the lack of whatever one doesn't have. And they made the finals off of it. They beat a tough Clippers team who kind of like implode at the end with Kawhi Leonard. They beat the one seed Thunder, 56 win to Thunder. The young Thunder, Shea Gilgeous, he did perform, but like the defense was a top 5 defense. They were a top shooting 3-point shooting team. They beat them off of physicality in the paint and Luka being a mismatch for anyone. Luka didn't have his best series, but in game 5 and game 6, he really closed them out. Like like Timberwolves series, they were the underdog severely because they had just beaten the championship Nuggets, and they came in, mopped the floor with them, made the finals. Luka was hurt this whole playoffs, by the way, which is kinda crazy to think about. Like, he really played the whole playoffs, 40 minutes a game on, like, one leg, and, like, he made the finals. Yes, the finals were not how we expected them to go. The Celtics shot the ball, they defended really well. They got their mismatches, and they won. But you don't trade the best player who led you to that championship run with his elite playmaking. He's a top playmaker in the league, and you just trade him away and with no chance of coming back and getting revenge. So, yeah, that's it was really bad. Like, it was crazy news, and I feel like last weekend to yeah, like Monday, today, I've just been seeing reports of, like, Luka's conditioning and how that, like, affected and made Nico Harrison just wanna trade him. Nico Harrison, you need to be fired. You need to go. I don't want to see Nico Harrison in another press conference, in another Mavs game. They play at home tonight, or no, they play at home soon, Saturday, and I'm 1,000, 1,000,000% sure he's going to get booed by everyone in that arena. Not because of the trade and who they traded for, but, like, you traded the franchise guy in the middle of the night without informing him, like, previously. You just traded him, like you said in the press conference today with the Lakers, the opening ceremony. Like, I was going to sleep, and I got the call, I'm getting traded. Well, I don't understand how you can trade a guy who has never requested to leave and did not want to leave, let alone the fact that the guy that didn't want to leave was 25 years old, superstar, a top 5 player in the league at minimum, who just brought you to the finals. That I feel like is organizational suicide for doing that. Nico Harrison is not seeing the pearly gates. He is not making it to where he wants to make it. And it's not even the fact that, like, he didn't have the guts to, like, tell, like, or just make it public. He went to one team to trade a guy you could have gotten the house for. Everyone in the league, every single team, all 29 of them, would have sent you every single offer you would have wanted. You could have gotten majority of the players you could have asked for, yet you settle for a 31 turning 32-year-old Anthony Davis, who yet Anthony Davis is a great player, top 10 player. Injury concerns, yes, the last 2 seasons he's shown you he can stay healthy. I understand that, but and Max Christie and a first round pick. You got 1 first round pick for Luka Doncic. I don't understand how that's possible. Luka could have been and, like, it's so bizarre because Luka could have been traded for not even traded for, offered to any team in the league for any of their players, and it would not have been crazy. If you would have let the whole league know you were shipping Luka Doncic out, you could have went to the Bucks. How you feeling on Giannis? Went to the Spurs. How you feeling on Wemby? Yeah, it's highly unrealistic because Wemby is in year 2 and he's a defensive stud. Probably already won all defensive player of the year this year. And it's like you didn't even try. You just went and get your guy that you like, which Nico Harrison does have a history of going to get his guy, which have worked out and which have yeah, because he PJ Washington was his guy. Kyrie Irving was his guy. He went out and got them. They were serviceable players. They were great pieces and a key factor to the Mavericks making a finals run. But I think Nico Harrison just went out of his way to, like, get his guy off of the fact that he didn't like Luka. I don't think he liked Luka in terms of the way he acts and the way he, I guess, has control of everything. Because Luka, yes, on the court, he does act a little man childish. There's definitely his moments. He could he could definitely be a lot to deal with, I can tell. A lot to deal with, and a guy who is loyal to you and willing to stay with you, you can fix you can understand that, like, attitude issues and, like, conditioning issues can be fixed. Attitude issues, you put the proper guys around him and a winning team around him, no attitude his teammates probably loved him. We don't know because 'cause we're not inside the locker room. No one will ever know what really happened because no one's inside the front office. We don't know as fans. We don't know any of this. We're speculating, of course, but the understanding that you just don't trade the generational talent. Luka is a generational talent. There are not many players walking around as skilled as Luka Doncic who have the ability to be the guy as a team, the face of a franchise like Luka Doncic. There's not many in the league. And it's like the loyalty that he has towards your city, that he is willing to stay. Reports came out he bought a $15 million home, whether that's people like coping or people really showing that he was willing to stay for the long term. At this point, at first I thought it was money issues. There's no way it was money issues because yes, Luka Doncic could have been paid the supermax, the rookie extension supermax, 300 million, all that. That guy is 100% worth all the money because he is going to make you a contender for the long term. You build a future for the short term and a long term. Luka brought you both of them. I don't understand. I'm still kind of shocked because like I watched the introductory press conference earlier, and it was Luka and Rob Pelinka, and how like Luka was shocked that he got traded. Whole league was shocked. He asked, "I don't know why Dallas did it. I don't know why they traded me. I never asked to be. I never insinuated that I was going to want to ask out." He actually did the opposite. He loved his teammates. You saw the comment section after he retired. PJ Washington, Derek Lively posted on his story. Quinn Grimes, who they also traded. We can get to that later. They all posted saying they loved Luka because Luka was their guy. You don't trade the guy of a team because you're like Nico Harrison seems, in my opinion, to be one of the most selfish people in the world. He like went after his guy, the guy he likes, and traded the guy he probably possibly did not like because he wanted to, I guess, be successful now. And his press conference was he said that he wanted the short term and long term. And his long term definition was 4 years. If 4 years is a long term as a general manager, you clearly know something that you are in like a prove it type of deal. Like you need to prove yourself. And by proving yourself, that comes with winning and that comes with the right morals. If Nico Harrison kept Luca, right, and built the correct proper team around him, which he did, he had the perfect team to make the finals. Yes, they didn't perform in the finals. He made upgrades this year. He got Klay Thompson, he got Najee Marshall, Quinn Grimes, key pieces. He kept the core of Derek Lively, PJ Washington, Daniel Gafford, who is most likely probably going to get traded if Luca stayed. If he had a competent GM, he would have gotten traded, which makes no sense because I like the combination of Derek Lively and Gafford. You know, the two big men who can stagger minutes, be on the court at all times. You have a big presence at all times. I hate seeing Dwight Powell minutes. And the fact that Dwight Powell was a Maverick longer than Luka Doncic is also insane to me. But never mind that. It's like we had a team when healthy, the Mavericks were on a roll. Luka and the team, the crew were on a roll. They were like 11-2 when they were all healthy. They just couldn't stay healthy. I think they are attributing them not staying healthy to Luka's conditioning, which is unfair because throughout Luka's entire career, There has not been a major injury that has hindered their season. He has been healthy in every postseason run, not in the fact that he's healthy 100%, but in the fact that he's there. No matter what injury, he's going to play through it because that's the type of guy he is. He plays through injuries. Like, I think we all could tell last year in the playoffs that he was injured. Like, he was iced up with like 100 pounds of ice on him. He had bloody knees every time like they panned to him. He played through it. That's the type of guy he is. He's the type of guy to play to be on the court because he understands how valuable he is, how valuable he is to the game, winning, and he loves to win. Who doesn't love to win? He's a star player who loves to win. People play basketball for the joy of the game, which we can clearly see when he plays. He plays the game to win, competitiveness. He clearly showed all signs of that. But it's just absurd that we could just trade him he's nothing. Like I like Anthony Davis better. I'm gonna take him. This is not like Toys R Us. This is the NBA where what you do matters. You trading Luca matters. The whole city of Dallas is in uproar. They want this guy hung. They want this guy like what the worst of the worst. Now I don't wish that upon him because he is a human, but it's like, how could you? There's a clear message in Dallas that Dirk showed throughout his 21 years on the organization that no matter the good, the bad, I am here to be here and to show you the love that this city shows me. So if Luca shows love to the city, yet you don't show love to Luca, what type of image are you portraying about yourself as an organization? The owners, the new owners, they need to sell the team. They might have ruined Dallas Mavericks basketball for the next 20 years. Man, Jason Kidd, they say Jason Kidd had no idea. If you think a GM who is so connected to their coach decided to make this move without informing the coach, you clearly don't understand that that is impossible. I understand we did not know until the trade actually happened. No one knew. There was no reports that Luka was going to get shipped or Anthony Davis was going to get shipped. They came out that LeBron James didn't even know. Luka didn't know. AD didn't know, which is that is crazy to me how like we can go trading these players who clearly never asked to leave and don't want to leave. The Lakers' perspective, I understand. You get a chance to replace the LeBron James era with the Luka Doncic era, sign me up immediately. I am never going to say no to wanting to have my future locked through. I have Luka Doncic for the next 10 plus years. However long he wants to stay, however long he wants to be the guy, he's going to be the guy because he has already shown us who he can be and how he can play. The Lakers are a prestigious organization. They are going to build a proper team around him. Like for the most part, because they did the last 3 years. LeBron's been crying and begging for a team besides the 2023 year. But yeah, AD's been crying for a center. You got your center. But at what cost, Nico Harrison? Did you have to give him your center? I think Nico Harrison, easy as a lick in the league. This guy got talked out because the reports came out that Dalton Connect and the other Lakers 2031 first was supposed to be sent to Dallas. It was supposed to be AD, Max Christie, Dalton Connect, 2 firsts. Nico Harrison got talked down from accepting that deal and got rid of Dalton Connect and the first round pick. This guy, he would let a robber take his phone and he would say, "Thank you for stealing from me." This guy just backed down because he wanted Luka out of there. Which is, bro, so if we look at this from Nico Harrison's perspective, he said defense wins championships. He traded Luka for AD and Max Christie, 2 defensive-oriented players. AD is obviously a top 2-way player in the league. Has shown he can be not a 1A, but a 1B on the championship team. He clearly performed in the bubble when he stayed healthy. And I think Nico Harrison believes genuinely in his heart, AD on the Mavericks would bring them farther than Luka Doncic on the Mavericks. Because we know, as Nico Harrison said in his interview, his short term and long term are all within 4 years. So he believes AD in the next 4 years is good enough to bring them to a championship and for them to win a ring, which is the goal. That's his goal. He said he wants a culture that fits him. He wants players that fit his culture. And I guess he just believes that Luka didn't fit the culture, which is, I don't know, because a player that doesn't fit the culture, in your opinion, but the guy is clearly your best player and clearly wins you games. I don't understand. It's got to be overrated then, because culture is not going to do nothing if Luka's clearly your best player and clearly winning you big time games with big time moments. They do not make the finals last year with AD instead of Luka Doncic. I don't care. I watched all of those playoff games. I seen what Luka was able to do with the ball in his hands, whether it was good, whether it was bad. He had his moments in the playoffs. Who doesn't? When he did have his moments, what did he do? He still managed the game properly, got his guys the looks, got Kyrie the ball, lob. They had quadruple the amount of lobs as the second highest team in the league. They were Lob City even better because Lob City never made it out the second round. And Luka's better than Chris Paul. I don't care. It's just crazy because a player who is better than Chris Paul talent wise and is 25 years old can get traded for a 31-year-old who clearly we don't know what's going to happen. And no disrespect to AD. AD is a hell of a talent. The city of Dallas is going to welcome him in because he clearly wants to win, and they are there to do that. I think the city of Dallas is just done with the organization as a whole because the organization has just thrown away all of their morals and beliefs, their ethics, thrown out the window by trading the guy who never asked to leave. This is like, imagine if Dirk got traded after 2006 after he lost. He didn't play all great in the finals. He got traded away for someone who Mark Cuban and Donnie Nelson thought was better than him. But we all would have never seen what happened in 2011 because the trials and tribulations are what gets you over the hump. The trials and tribulations of losing and going back and forth and the culture of your team and making adjustments are a whole process of winning a championship. The Celtics in 2018, they made the Eastern Conference Finals. It took them until 2024 to win. The trials and tribulations, the making adjustments, the coaching switches, the player switches, the personnel switches, all of that took years of making because they needed to understand what the playoffs was like and adapt. The Celtics adapt perfectly. They got Drew Holiday. Derek White evolved into a player that we never expected him to be. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, while yes, offensively they did not produce to what we are used to them doing, they played hell of a like, crazy defense throughout the whole playoff series. Kristaps Porzingis, when he did play, was clearly a dominant force. Al Horford, the perfect spacing big man. It all came together through time. And you giving up on Luka when he clearly has so much time left on his table is crazy because now you just not only did you restart in the middle of the season, you now have a lesser window to win a championship. If you don't win a championship in the next, let's say 3-4 years, Kyrie, he's older, he's 36, he's 32 now, he's 36 later, AD 32 now, 36 later. The young guys, Derek Lively, stud. I love Derek Lively. PJ Washington, stud. All these guys are paid extra now because they proved themselves and showed why they are contending players. How is this going to work? How are you going to build another team? The thing with Luka and why he was so great and why trading him is absurd to me is the way you can build around Luka is so simple because he can carry majority of the offensive load. We've seen it in 2022 and 2024. The cores were completely different, and they both made Western Conference and Finals runs. Luka's ability to be the guy and have a team built around him, we clearly saw what you need around Luka. You need a secondary ball handler in Jalen Brunson and Kyrie. You need defensive oriented players to match up with the guys who are going to switch and attack Luka because Luka is not the best defender, as we've seen in the finals and the playoffs. He was realistically it wasn't that bad. The Clippers series he did lock down. The the Thunder series, he showed up. He had his moments, but he also showed up when it mattered the most. And the Wolves series, he mattered the most. He started Jaden McDaniels. I mean, yeah, that's really what you do. You get your big defenders, you get your great switchable shooters, and you play collapse defense. That's what they did. Derek Lively, one of the best rookie seasons in terms of role players we've seen in a while. He was the key factor to the Mavericks making the finals in the Timberwolves series, the Thunder series, the Clipper series. He was the key. PJ Washington, the key in winning the Thunder series. They left him open and he hit when he needed to hit. And we seen that all you need, Derrick Jones too. I love Derrick Jones. I miss Derrick Jones Jr. But we see that building around Luka does not take the biggest struggle and like the perfect pieces around him because he can make work with what he has. You give him a competent big man to throw lobs, protect the paint, switch when needed. You see that he can do a lot of things that a lot of players can't do. Joel Embiid has never made it out the conference finals, or made it to the conference finals. Luka's done it twice with clearly inferior rosters. So we see that Luka's ability to carry and take the workload and play 40 minutes and just hold the ball for all 40 of those minutes in a James Harden type of role. But clearly he does not have the struggles of the James Harden type of role because we've seen what happens in the playoffs with Harden compared to Luka. Harden's had a series. Harden's had really bad series. He's had really good moments. It's just he did run into the Warriors a bunch. But like we see the difference because Luka's bad series, he still has his games where he facilitates the game at a different level to a point that no one in the league can do. He has a mismatch advantage because everyone on the court is looking to see what he's doing. His ability to get blitzed and find the open man, find the short roll, find the guy in the corner is next level that not a lot of people have. There's not that many people in the league who can do that. Kyrie cannot do that. Spencer Dinwiddie cannot do that. Jaden Hardy cannot do that. Najee Marshall cannot do that. Dante Exum cannot do that. You traded the guy who did that better than majority of the league, and you traded him away to have Kyrie as your lead ball handler. Kyrie is a great player. Him as a lead ball handler, we have seen has not worked in the past at all. Celtics, it did not work at all. In Brooklyn, it did not work at all. When James Harden left and it was him and KD and a bunch of shooters and Nick Claxton, Steve Nash was running 3-guard lineups, it didn't work. Yes, the team around him wasn't great. It did not work because Kyrie has his moments in the playoffs. We seen it last year. He had his moments. I won't lie. Kyrie at times looked like the best player I've ever seen in my life. I won't lie. But at times he looked complacent and he looked like he didn't know what he was doing. I vividly remember a game in the Thunder series. I think Kyrie had like 12 points and everyone was confused on why he wasn't more aggressive. And then I don't know if it was a couple games later, but game 1 of the Timberwolves series, Kyrie in the first half came out and he destroyed. He had like 27 points in the first half based off of the fact that he was aggressive. And aggressive Kyrie Irving is a great player. I am not saying he's not. I'm saying is when he chooses to not be aggressive, that's when we have problems. Now that Luka's not there, there's even bigger problems. Kyrie needs to be aggressive 100% of the time or else it will not work. Maybe he understood that he was taking a backseat to Luka because Luka was such a great playmaker. But now Kyrie has to step up and fill his shoes of Luka being a great playmaker, especially in the playoffs when there are teams like the Thunder who are elite perimeter defense. The Rockets, they have elite perimeter defense. They do have their mismatches, but they have Amen Thompson, Tari East, and they have great defenders who will be matched up with Kyrie now that Luka's gone. Kyrie will no longer be getting Fred VanVleet. He'll be getting switched between Amen Thompson and Dylan Brooks and Tari Eason. He's getting the hardest perimeter guard matchups in any series that he's going to play now. In the Thunder, he's going to get Lou Dort, he's going to get Kason Wallace, he's going to get J-Dub, he's going to get all of them switch onto him. He is the focus of the offense now. That is my problem. You have now put all of the chips in Kyrie's hands and said, go work. You are now the primary playmaker. You have to be Luka. You have to replace him because Luka, I understand you didn't like his conditioning, but Luka was a top 5 player in the league. A top 5. You traded him for a guy who's not a perimeter-oriented player. You traded for him for a big defensive-oriented guy. AD, great defensive guy. He's going to boost this Mavs defense to a top 5, maybe top 3. I am banking on top 3 because we need it. We need to be the 0-4 Pistons in terms of defense. We need to shut down everything. Derek Lively and AD as a duo, that is scary. Those are 2 elite rim protectors. AD is going to be back in his role of roaming around, guarding the guys who need to be guarded on the perimeter without having to worry about being a shot blocker. Because that's what he had to do on the Lakers. He had to roam, defend the guys who switched out onto him. And then now Austin Reeves is on Jokic in the post. What's going to happen? It's because we all know AD is not the best post defender. We should all know that because we've seen what happened in the past when he plays great post players. Now you have Derek Lively to guard those guys, Daniel Gafford to guard those guys. You cannot trade either one of them. Nico Harrison, if you trade Daniel Gafford to Daniel Lively, I will personally fly to Dallas and make sure you do not see the Mavericks facility again. Okay? Don't trade them. Those are your 2 guys that you need to help AD with. TJ Washington, too. You are going to be a big switchable guard. You are going to be guarding the other team's best players now because there's no Derrick Jones. None of that's happening. You got to do that now. No offensive role for you anymore because AD is here. Now, the Mavericks in the playoffs are scary because they do have a big size advantage in terms of how they're going to play each playoff series. And I looking at the West, there are teams that definitely scare me. The Thunder, Rockets, the Nuggets. I was told this by a friend that in terms of stopping Jokic, what team has the best chance? And he said the Mavs. And now that because I was in an anger state, we just traded Luka. And I was like, yeah, there's no chance. Now that I really look at it, the Mavericks are the best team to defend Jokic. Stop him? No, because no team's going to stop him. But defend him? Yes, the Mavericks might do damage to Jokic. I like their chances against the Nuggets because you take Jokic and you mitigate what he can do, and then you have some, because the offenses run through Jokic, you have some mismatch advantage with AD on Jokic now. Derek Lively's a great lob threat. It's just, it all comes down to what Kyrie can do in his new role of being the next Luka Doncic. There are not many players who can. Kyrie, he has his moments. We will see what will happen. As a Mavs fan, it's really hard coping with the fact that we did trade him. But we got to look to the future now. We need to win a championship. Because if we do not win a championship, we failed completely. Winning a championship would not feel as good as if we did with Luka, because the city of Dallas is known for rallying around their guy. And they rallied around Dirk. They rallied around Luka for the last 7 years. And it's over now. We have no one to rally around. So we have to win a championship to make this all worth it for losing our guy and giving him up to the evil Lakers. Evil 17 championship Los Angeles Lakers, who get whatever they want with the most spoiled fan base in the entire world. So I really hope that we can compete, because I can see the vision that Nico went for, but it was the stupidest way to go for this vision. We need to be able to compete with the top team, the Thunder. Oh, man, the Thunder. We gotta hope and pray that Chet and Isaiah Hartenstein aren't the next guys who can stop AD and Derek Lively, Dale Gafford. They're big team, great players, defensive oriented team. They play defense better than we do. So we just gotta see how the offense works in those games. Now onto the trade that happened today. Quentin Grimes got traded and a second round pick, by the way. Quentin Grimes is 24. Got traded for Caleb Martin, the known Celtics killer. Should have won Eastern Conference Finals MVP 2 years ago in 2023. Do I like the trade? I do and don't. Caleb Martin's bigger. He's capable of guarding bigger players, more wing-oriented players, wing defender. He does have his moments of streaky shooting. Quentin Grimes had his moments of great shooting, and he can clearly guard the guards in the league. We've seen it before. I liked Quentin Grimes. Great flamethrower off the bench. And he's gone now for a second round pick. Caleb Martin, he has been a little injured this year. But I like the vision of defensive-oriented players. Because if you're going to go all in, you better go all in. You're not going to trade for AD, trade your franchise player, and then not go all in. Because if you don't go all in, if you lose Nico Harrison, your head is on a stick in the middle of Dallas, all right? You need to understand that it's championship or bust for the next 3 years. And it's not just bust. Championship or explode, explode the franchise if we do not win a championship. And AD walks, Kyrie walks, you are left with Derek Lively as your building block, and whoever else is left. Whoever else doesn't leave because you know what you did. So I like the ability that we have to switch. Switchability is definitely a big portion of the vision at this point. Even though we could switch with Luka on the team, we had a top 5 defense. Can't believe it. I don't really know why. I still will never know why we did it. You can always hope and cope and try to, try to guess why, but you'll never know unless you are told by Nico Harrison and the owners, Patrick Dumont, head on a stick if you don't win a championship. You replace Mark Cuban, I don't like you. That woman, I don't even know your. Oh gosh, I don't even know why. We got some casino ladies and real estate agents running the Mavericks. They know nothing about basketball. They put all their faith into Nico Harrison, and he just threw it all away. The pain. Luka, you will be missed by everyone, every fan in Dallas. And I kind of don't understand what to do now. Do I root for them? Do I support not even the? I'm not supporting the organization. It's over. Patrick Dumont, you'll never be supported by me. Nico Harrison, you'll never. I hate Nico Harrison. You'll never be liked by me. Jason Kidd, I hate you because I know you were definitely a driving force in this. You know you're a good coach. I won't lie. Great defensive coach. You definitely made what worked around Luka and definitely brought us to the finals a couple times, or Western Conference Finals and the finals. I just think where we go from now is all based on how good offensively AD is. I'm not questioning the defense. I'm not even questioning the regular season offense because I think we play good enough defense to where the Thunder do. They play good enough defense to the point where their offense doesn't have to be firing at all cylinders all the time, even though they have Shea firing at all cylinders all the time, should win MVP. And it's more of the playoff offense because when they really lock in and they have the game plan for you and they know what your tendencies are, how will you respond? How will Kyrie, who is getting the main focus of the perimeter defenders, respond? How will AD, who is going to be all eyes on him, going to respond? How are the role players going to respond? How is Klay Thompson going to respond? How is Najee? How is PJ Washington? How are they going to respond shooting-wise? We don't know. Klay Thompson, he's been on a little, not heater, because a Klay Thompson heater is a different level of heater. But he's been serviceable. So if we can get the Klay Thompson that we know, shooting ability wise, if we can get Najee Marshall shooting ability wise and his playmaking wise and his ability to put the ball on the floor, that would be great. If we get Kyrie firing all cylinders, Spencer Dinwiddie, defensive oriented with AD behind you, you got playmaking ability. You can shoot a little bit sometimes. Sometimes you do shoot us out of some games. Jaden Hardy, please take the step up. We love you. Yeah, we just need Dwight Powell. I hope you get cut from the team. You've been a cancer for the last 4 years. Not in terms of like you're. Oh, Dwight Powell. Every time he touches the floor, I hate you. Great guy. I hate you. Right. I'm so worried. We're probably gonna make a lot more moves. I won't doubt that. Right? Joel Embiid will play Tuesday. Joel Embiid, who's been out for the last month, will play Tuesday. He is on my fantasy team. I'm going to put him in the game. Sorry. But, I also have Anthony Davis on my fantasy team. So you better lock in on this fantasy season. The rest of the season. I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about the playoffs, though. So, that being said, back to the playoff offense. Oh, shoot. Not playing today. Oh, he is playing today. Dallas, great. Oh, Joel Embiid's playing Dallas. I didn't even realize they were playing today. They traded players playing in the same game. They traded Quentin Grimes for Caleb Martin, playing together, playing today. About to sit on the bench, awkward as heck. And Joel Embiid's about to kill because I think Dale Gafford's playing, but Derek Lively is out for the next 2 months. Our key player. So what we know is Nico Harrison, you might need to get witness protection. You might need some security guards. Because I'm in New York, I can't do nothing to you. But there's a lot of people who are crazy, and they would do some crazy things to you. And yeah, I love the Dallas Mavericks. They do, I thought for the next 20 years I would be the happiest fan. I would be here. I would be supportive. I'd watch every game that I can. I was thinking about buying Mavs TV. The streaming service. I am not buying Mavs TV anymore. It is over. I remember there was plans for me and oh man. Oh, speaking of that, I am going to the Mavericks versus the Nets game in March 25th. And I obviously got the tickets for Christmas, and this was way before Luka was hurt because he got hurt the day of. But I thought 2 months, March is in 3. I got time. Luka will be back for me to watch him play. I watched him play last year. Him and Kyrie dropped 35 each. It was one of the greatest nights I've ever seen. And Kyrie was on a heater that game too. I remember it was Grant Williams era of basketball, of Mavericks basketball. Never forget Grant Williams. But like now, I'm just gonna see a Kyrie AD led team. Hopefully, they kill the Nets. The Nets are like a bottom feeder. And hopefully that helps me feel better seeing them win. Hopefully they'll be on a run at the time because it's a month away. There definitely will be another trade. Nico Harrison seems like he's trying to go all in. There was reports that he's not done after the Quentin Grimes trade because you better go all in. All I'm saying. I don't know who you're trading, but you better go all in. So yeah. Speaking of going all in, Klay Thompson came out in the locker room. It was a clip. I forgot to mention it was a clip. Klay Thompson. They asked Klay Thompson, "Oh, if Luka wasn't here, like if you knew Luka wasn't here, would you still have signed with Dallas?" And he goes, "I live with no regrets, and I'm happy to be a Maverick," which is like sign code word for like no, like I would not be here if Luka wasn't here. And like that alone, I lose all hope for future because you can't attract any free agents like with the thought in the back of your head that, oh yeah, like they did Luka like this. Like who says I'm any better than Luka? Why wouldn't they do me like this? And you don't really have the guy to attract. Luka attracted so many free agents because they knew they would get the best opportunities playing with him. and now he's gone. Your biggest attraction is gone. I think that we need to end up doing a lot, doing a lot to make up for this trade. We're not gonna draft another Luca. That's a once in a generation player. That is not something you just draft. Like, it's so bizarre. You hit on a once in a generation player and you trade him when he says he wants to stay. How does that even? That's like the Spurs trading Wemby, Giannis getting traded, Jokic getting traded would be insane. But even then, he wouldn't get traded to a team like the Lakers. Luka Doncic is pulling in so much attention to the Lakers that it's actually bizarre. He's really about to win 3 MVPs and 3 championships in the next 10 years, isn't he? And I don't have to watch all of it knowing he was on my team and my type of player. Okay. Um, so hopefully the Mavs can adjust and recoup from what happened. And so here, now that we're done talking about the Mavericks and all this stuff, we're going to do a top 5 teams I am scared to play in the playoffs and a top 5 teams I wish the Mavericks would play in the playoffs. So number 1, the most scared team I am to play in the playoffs is East and West, the Boston Celtics. The Boston Celtics, though they are struggling, they are a complete team. We've seen it last year. They turn it on when it matters the most. They shoot the most threes. They play the best defense. KP didn't even play, and he actually the one game he did play, we had no answers. We had no answers for him, and their spacing is insane. That team would kill the Mavericks even with AD, let alone the fact that we have no ball handler. Kyrie shrinks when he plays the Celtics. Kyrie getting hounded by Derek White, Drew Holiday, Jason Tatum, and Jaylen Brown. There's no pick and roll situation where you get a switch that you like. There's no favorable matchup to hunt. You're gonna have Spencer Dinwiddie having to do stuff that Luka was doing, which you can't do. You can't shoot 9% again from the 3 because Luka's not there. So that's definitely number 1. Number 2 of the team I'm most scared to play is definitely the Thunder. The Thunder have their guy. They have Shai Gilgeous. They have an elite defensive core. They have 2 bigs, Chet and Isaiah Hartenstein, who I honestly think that is scary duo. Shout out to my guys who are Thunder fans. You guys are lucky. You guys got a great team. You guys could definitely make it out the West now that Luka's gone. So we'll see what happens after that. Thunder, number 2. Number 3 of the team I'm most scared to play. I know I said that they match up well with the Denver Nuggets. Nikola Jokic is the guy. He is known to kill Anthony Davis in the past. They clearly know how to play out through Jokic. And in 2020, when they played in the conference finals, where it was AD and then Dwight Howard and McGee were switching on and off, so it was AD pretty much roaming, and Jokic kind of getting disgruntled with Dwight Howard, basically just found him. They have that same build. Derek Lively's going to guard Jokic, and AD's going to roam. But I just think Jokic has evolved to a whole different level of player. The guys around him clearly know when to turn it on in terms of shooting and defending. They got the off the court minutes though were definitely questionable, which I hope the Mavs can take advantage of. But in the playoffs, I doubt Jokic is going to be off the court that much. Jokic is a different level of player, and playing a guy like that is always scary. So, and then number 4, a guy who I'm scared to play. Not really a guy, it's a team. The Houston Rockets. The Houston Rockets are definitely, they're young, they're inexperienced, but they can switch at all levels. They don't have a guy, which I feel like you need a guy in the playoffs. But I feel like them hounding on defense wouldn't have scared me if we kept Luka. AD could definitely dominate, but I just think their defense if not better than the Mavericks, is definitely up there, and it's hard to it's gonna be hard to score against the Rockets because of the fact that we don't have consistent ball handling in my eyes, and I feel like we will get hounded in terms of the guys who can't put the ball on the floor getting put in situations they don't wanna be. The Rockets are number 4, and number 5, no one wants to hear it. Those Lakers. Those Lakers are gonna kill if they get it right. We clearly don't know if they're done yet because they can still make moves to get a big man, whether it's Claxton, Miles Turner, Walker Kessler, Robert Williams. One of those guys could definitely help in terms of like the rim protection. But you got Luca and you got LeBron and you got Reeves, you got Dorian Finney-Smith, Jared Vanderbilt. You got players who you got Luca surrounded by defenders and LeBron, and then you give him a consistent lob threat that's not Jackson Hayes because he's serviceable. He's definitely not what you want as a guy in terms of competing, but he's there and he can do whatever you want to do. In terms of like you have LeBron and Luca who are going to put so much pressure on the defense to like focus on them and understand that like those two are the guys you need to worry about. Just having to play those two like level of intelligent players is definitely scary. You know, I'm gonna make a adjustment. I'm putting the Lakers at 4 because I'd rather not play the Lakers. Luca is gonna kill. But yeah, in terms of top 5 teams I don't want to play, we have the Celtics, the Thunder, the Nuggets, the Lakers, and the Rockets. And in terms of teams I do want to play, we can speed run this real quick. Um, well, that are in the playoffs right now. The current standings, I'll actually see this because there's teams in the play-in, there's teams who can't. As a current roster right now, the team that I would like to play the most, let's go from 5. The team I would hate to play against from 1 through 8 and from each conference, the Heat. The Heat, I mean, if they make the finals again on a miraculous run, that's a team that it's kind of sweet. Actually, you know, this is kind of a cop out because the lower half of the Eastern Conference is not the best. They definitely will not make the 8th seed Magic are 24 and 27. So we can just do the West and the top of the East. So from 5 up in the East and the whole West. So the Mavericks are the 8th seed right now. Currently, they'll play the Thunder. I would love the Mavericks to play the Timberwolves. The Timberwolves are sweet. They have Julius Randle, like ball stopper. Like I think defensively, the Mavericks would kill, and the Timberwolves really don't have enough offense to outdo us on offense. And we've seen in the past, like it doesn't work. Even with Karl Towns, who's a significant better player than Julius Randle, it can't. We've seen Julius Randle playoff roles. We've seen Rudy Gobert's like playoff woes. Those are definitely that is not something you should be scared of. The Grizzlies, I'm not scared of the Grizzlies. I seen what Anthony Davis did to the Grizzlies in 2023. He dominated. I say we have Kyrie who can dominate because I think they'll have Jalen Wells guarding him, Desmond Bane, not the best. Gigi Jackson, I mean, I guess Jaren Jackson Jr. He's a big man, but he's not a big man. They have Zach Edey. I just think the matchups fit. Yep, that's definitely another team. The Clippers. The Clippers. Oh my gosh, Mickey Mouse to Clubhouse. I wish I could play this sound. Mickey Mouse to Clubhouse. Kawhi Leonard. Who knows where he will be at when it comes to April and May? He won't be there. So that team, the Pacers, sweet team, light in the paint. They play with pace, but they just can't mess with our defense. And I know no one wants to hear it. Those New York Knicks with that 8-man rotation playing the Mavericks, I wouldn't mind it. I would I wouldn't say it's a guaranteed win, but I think that's a team that the Mavericks can exploit in terms of matchup, in terms of domination in the paint, in terms of switchability, because we do have switchable guys. It's just how it's going to work in terms of our offense versus theirs. They clearly do have a better offense than us, like a lot of teams do, but I really think that this defense can really be impactful in a top 3 defense. It's just, the way we got this top 3 defense is not how we would have loved it. So, just rough scene. Mavericks fans are in shambles. I am definitely in shambles. I just coped for the last 20 minutes trying to make myself feel better that Luka's gone. It will never feel real that Luka's gone. And yeah, maybe next time we could talk more about individual matchups and other teams. So thank you for listening, if you are listening. And I would like to get ready for the next couple months, next couple of years, because I will be here for the next couple of years of the One and Done radio show. And doing that, I am signing out. And thank you for listening. Please come back. Thank you.